Just do it.
Hello,
But yeah,
welcome to the Aftershow of episode 1.
Hi.
Hello.
Welcome to a bunch of people trying to go to bed. Yeah.
We're already over by 2 hours, so
Trying
we're just
to
gonna
go
power
to
through this
bed.
after show.
This guy with
with
his
a rock
rock star.
star.
You're never gonna sleep again.
Man, I've been awake for like 27 hours now.
God, how do you do it? I need at least
2 of my sleep cycles. This is my 4th can of Red Bull.
Yeah, but Avak has this weird schedule where he sleeps during the day, and then he sleeps during the night, and then he sleeps during the day, and he has like this.
Every
6
9
hours.
or so hours, I
Yeah,
sleep
he just goes to
for
sleep.
an hour and a
Exactly.
half.
So you do that thing that like Da Vinci did, where he sleeps like 2 hours every like 6 hours or whatever.
I sleep about 4.5 hours every 30 or so hours.
Wow.
But it's really, really good when I'm doing it properly because, like, I'll wake up immediately. I'll be awake and alert, and then I just go through my 9 hours where I'm alert and productive the whole 9 hours. And then the moment I start feeling tired, I go back to sleep. I don't even have to set an alarm anymore. I automatically wake up about an hour and a half to 2 hours later. So all of my wake time is productive time. Like, I don't have a winding down period. Like, because at the end of a night, like when you're just sleeping like 7 or 8 hours a night, the last 4 or 5 hours, you kind of like, I don't really feel like doing work. I just want to sit down and chill and all of that.
I have that problem all day long. Like, I wake up feeling like that, and I'm just like, I don't want to do shit today. I guess I'll just sit here and eat Funyuns and watch
I'm the exact
TV.
opposite. If I sleep normally, that is the moment my body feels tired, I just listen to it, go to bed. I don't set an alarm. I just go to sleep. My body wakes me up when it's no longer tired.
See,
I'm productive all the
That
time.
again. I can't wait to have that again. I've been on this
So
medication for my eyes for several months, since January now, and it's just been I've been feeling like splatter ever since January because I'm on these fucking medication.
The one
Makes you
kicker,
drowsy.
and it is a real kicker, is if I skip a sleep point, like my body's not used to tiredness, it can't handle it anymore. If I skip one sleep, I feel absolutely awful. But I try to power through it to the next sleep point, but I've skipped 2. The only reason I'm still awake is because of the Red Bull. And even in the stream, I was like, I can't remember words. English. Sorry, I'm all thinking Welsh now.
That's how I managed to stay awake for 26 hours or whatever I am on. I only slept a few hours last night because I was too hyped.
Well, Mr. Bentham, what did you think about the first day today?
Was it
It
like
went
the
pretty
first
well.
day at work? Yeah.
Yeah.
It was good.
What can we improve upon, in your opinion?
I don't know.
Tell us our business so we can silently resent you.
Heretic!
Hey, you in the corner who is too corrupt to melt the stone.
Yeah. You unpeer people with your filthy heretic points. But no, seriously, yeah, I agree. What should we do better? You got fresh eyes on this whole thing.
Yep.
I'm just trying to learn it all. I'm not seeing anything wrong.
Well, what can we do better so that you get more involved and so that you learn the process? And yawning does not help splatter.
Sorry.
Well, what did you think, Mr. GM? Because you were observing everyone. What can we do better?
We started off fairly slow as we were getting into it, but it started to accelerate from there. I think I've got to learn how it paces. I know how a Dark Heresy game paces because I did loads of that. It was my first RPG. But how Dark Heresy 2 is slightly different, and especially how it plays out on camera, because things play out so different on camera, especially how slow they play out. That said, I think I'm getting a grip of it. I think we could probably do a decent investigation in 2 episodes. Then just got to schedule it to make it awesome all the way through. Sometimes a smaller investigation maybe fit in 1 episode, but it's got to be careful timing and see how it goes. But
What do you think, Shin?
I think pretty much the same thing. Is just timing is something that we need to work on. I need to learn a lot more about the Warhammer universe, which is good. I'm glad I'm playing a character who is also new to the universe, so that I can sort of explore things in character, and it's still me learning as the player.
And you're a very useful foil for the audience who haven't got any experience of 40k. So as we explain stuff to
That's
you,
true.
We're explaining it to the audience.
And
there you go.
Chat was complaining that I was wasting my turns because I was running around at the bottom of the map. There's this elevator shaft that goes down. I thought this was dirt and rock, this black area in the middle. I thought it was.
I should have
I
explained.
suspected
Yeah.
that might have been the case.
So I was like, I have to run around the side before I can be useful. So I took 3 turns just to get around there before I even took a shot.
If you look at the
It's not
edge of
flat.
it, it doesn't have a wall.
Shadow.
Yeah.
So that's what you're talking about is the wall. I saw that eventually at the stairs at the top there. You're saying there's a wall there.
I was like,
didn't
what?
see a wall. Yeah.
Yeah.
It doesn't look
there's
like a wall
there.
to me, but I get what it is now. Yeah. And then on
Yeah.
the side there's a doorway. I get it. So it's just
Yeah.
things like that. I'll figure it out eventually. But yeah, that's just stuff that I have to get used to. I like the atmosphere and everything, and it's something that it's taking me a while to embrace. It's something that I'm having a tough time pulling out of myself. It's like getting in the character as someone in this strange universe, you know?
Yeah, where everybody is indoctrinated, everybody is a servant of the God King,
Mhm.
and nobody questions it. Like everybody's in on it. Like everybody's just like, yes, for the God King, and it's
Yeah, you guys-
totally.
You guys are gonna have to slap Garrett silly if he starts talking about what's out there in the warp. You know?
Yeah. That's
No.
why I figured that'd be a curious conversation. That's why I tried to have that conversation on the boat. Is because I figured it'd be a good call for somebody that's never done space travel before.
Yeah.
Don't look out the window. There's a reason we have blast shutters.
Yeah, and a Geller field, and sunshades.
But yeah, no, that went well. And now you have a chain spear.
That thing
Thing
was
is, though, like, it was-
ridiculous. I was like, damn.
I was gonna do a whole thing of like Pug's cannon thing with the chainsaw. So I'm like, I still sort of want to use that.
Oh, did you actually
I
pick
have this chain spear.
Yeah.
Did you actually pick up the what was it called where I couldn't put down the gun?
I don't have anything for that, but I thought for lore reasons it'd be
Gotcha.
nice to sort
Well,
of
to
keep
be
hold
honest,
of
the
it.
chain spear is not something you'd just carry around.
Well, yeah, so
isn't just
it's
something
sort of
you'd
like
carry
it
around.
could
This
just
is
be
something
something
that
that's
you'd
in the
go
armory.
to. Yeah, it's something like in this situation, you'd have it in the. Was it the skimmer? Was that right?
Yeah, you could probably keep it in the
Skimmer,
skimmer.
Yeah, and then you'd go and like, oh, this fight is more than I can manage. You run back to the skimmer, you pick up
Also,
the chain spear because you're like,
technically,
I
in the
need
right
something
setting, it is industrial machinery. So in theory, you might be able to get away with it. But it has like runes and stuff and things for the Omnissiah on it. So it's obviously a sort of a Adeptus Mechanicus kind of thing.
It's for digging up heresy.
Yes, that is exactly what it's for.
I mean,
you
hell,
think,
I mean,
Abbott?
if you don't want it simply because of that, then if I were to pick up, see, I don't know, because my character doesn't have any particularly good weapon skills. But if he did go something, it probably would be chain.
I've got no
And
proficiency.
he's got nothing else to do with his hands.
It's something you can wield as a sort of just like a staff.
Yeah,
You would look most like you should be holding it.
Yeah, mostly because of the Omnissiah markings on it.
You could always have them filed off.
You can pretend
to
it's
file
decorative.
the markings, the Omnissiah. I swear our GM is corrupt. I'm fairly certain he's working for Gorn.
We can't convict him of heresy. It's just not something we can do.
We can convict Garrett though.
Yeah. Oh, so that's the question. So this is something we haven't really covered yet. For corruption, because you said we would cover this in the game, in the campaign. How does that work? Because I've got
When you
3
get-
and Bentham's got 1.
When you get to certain milestones, you have to test just in case certain malignancies or mutations start to appear. You haven't reached there yet. I think it's every 10, and then there's a special one at 30 and a special one at 60. But when you get to 100, you become basically batshit crazy,
Chaos.
worshipping chaos, evil, and you become a non-player character because you try to kill everyone.
So at low levels like 3 and 1, there's no effect yet.
No effect. You're
Okay.
basically...
To be honest, you'd probably actively start working against the party before 100 anyway. You do little things they're like, oh yeah, just guard this area. Make sure nothing happens with that thing. You're like, nope. Once they've walked off, it's like,
So eventually you
100
start.
100 is the point where you start actively working for chaos, whereas before that, it's just
stuff about.
it's before
I
that
was
you
gonna say about-
alter how your mind works and stuff. You might get malignancies that are you feel tempted by certain things or whatever. It depends on the malignancies roll, but it also could be stuff you're screw it, I'm going to go all the corruption point route because there are certain awesome things you can get with really high corruption points.
Yeah, you were telling me about a role play in the past where some guy they were always calling him corrupt, so he just full on went corrupt and started working against the rest of the team in the shadows?
Yeah, basically he went corrupt in the middle of a mission, and the GM took him aside and went, look, you should technically turn to NPC, but here's your new brief. And he was like, cool, I will totally be this. And he basically ran away from the group after going crazy and worked for Chaos, and then disappeared in the middle of the campaign after like turning in the middle of the session. And the player just rolled up a new character for the next session, but for that session he just went, okay, I play the character, he's fine. Oh, look, he's shooting you in the head and running away. Yeah,
Do we keep our corruption secret?
Yeah, if you want.
That would
I
require
would advise you to
have to.
probably try and keep it secret from each other, because each other person is going to get a little bit paranoid about your corruption points, and that'll be hilarious. I mean, I'm sure chat will be keeping a tally, and some will put it on like the subreddit or whatever. But
So maybe we should announce it after the session.
Tell us what they are.
it would just be funny to keep it secret.
Yeah, if you do it after the session and then just whisper it to us, whatever we gain during the session. That way there's no spoilers and nobody can ruin it.
I don't know. I'm pretty sure chat would want to know anyway. Like, I could write it down, but I'm pretty sure chat would be like, we want to know corruption. That said, like...
Just keep it secret, I'd say. I think that's definitely something
Just don't look at chat.
I don't need to look at. You literally said it out loud in this session.
Yeah, but I won't be telling you what your corruption is. I'll tell you what you get as a bonus, unless you're keeping track of the running total. You won't know.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. It's very hard not to keep track of a simple number like that.
Yeah, but it's every time like 2, 3, 1, 2, 3 until it gets to like 70. Nothing really happens.
Bloody flashbacks and their lack of mathematical ability. My God.
Over the course of like several months, though, really, many months actually to get that
we
high.
were doing it like once a week. Fairly easy.
Yeah, easy to forget.
Yeah.
But yeah, also experience.
You flashy meatbag.
Experience you managed to get. I would say you did way better in the fight than I was expecting.
Were you expecting deaths? Like, should we expect people to die in this campaign?
No, it just got really unlucky that both of the hits were against Carolinus and both of them rolled reasonably high damage. Well, one of them rolled a reasonably high damage. It was just really unlucky for Carolinus.
You felt unlucky.
Basically, when you injured enough of the servitors were going to get confused, and they had to make intelligence tests, or basically they would go, I don't know what to do, and effectively it's easy enough to go. Free action kill.
So do they have like a hive mind thing? Is that because when you're killing them off, they're losing computing capacity?
No, but they're not really programmed for combat. And these ones were only barely holding it together because of the way they were using the tainted mind impulse unit crystals. So when they got confused enough and enough of their brethren fell, they were like, what should we be doing? We're confused.
How do we do with our subtlety? Was that a really subtle investigation?
That was quite a subtle investigation. Like, you rolled really well when you needed to. You role-played it right. You didn't over-push it. Although, except at one point when you went, hi, we're here to check on your... What was it? Oh, because there have been issues with your servitors. And it was like, your brief was because you were doing a spot check. There was no issue, but you managed to get past it.
Yeah. He talked his way back out of that mistake.
Yeah.
Question.
Yeah, I think...
Sorry. Do you plan on following up on us dealing with the repercussions of this mission later on?
Maybe.
Okay.
I always kind of thought of this as like, it's kind of like, some of those old shows, you know what I mean? Like, Are You Afraid of the Dark or whatever, old horror shows, like they would be self-contained stories. But every now and again, like 2 seasons later, they would kind of like reference a thing that happened in an episode like before, and it would like mildly affect something that happened way later on. I don't know.
There's effectively each one is an individual self-contained episode, but there are over like arching story elements, a bit like Buffy the Vampire Slayer or something. Because that's the best way to like run a sort of a RPG like this. I tend to find one that's sort of more self-contained. Is you run it like a Buffy the Vampire show. You're like, look, this is the evil thing. Fight the evil thing. Okay, and then you prep up and whatever, and then you have the final battle against the evil thing. You maybe do some research. But yeah, I think you should all call it 500 experience for this session.
Wow.
Normally I'd say 300 to 400, but for this session, you killed way more of them than expected very quickly. You got a little bit of unlucky in a couple of cases. You managed to take down the dude. You did call in the Inquisitor at exactly the right point. Effectively, it was like, Interrogator, what should we do now? We've managed to prosecute the heretics. We're pretty sure no one else is involved, but we want to open up the investigation. We know this crystal is bad, and we need to kill 12,000 people. That was a good time to go, hi.
Mhm.
Yeah, so was
We
that a
have
plus or a
result
minus?
for you?
Killing the 12,000 people, like, as a net, was that a good thing to do, or was that a bad thing to do? Because I felt like in the setting, it's what they would do. They'd be like, well,
It
anybody
depends
that's
who
been in
you
the mines
ask.
got to go.
You don't have any chance of getting like peer Adeptus Mechanicus for sorting that out because you've really slowed down their production. However, at the same time, Interrogator Titus Khan is very pleased with you because, you know, he would like to err on the side of caution with that one.
Yeah, that's the
Necessary
general
sacrifice.
feel I get as an outsider looking in on this game. It feels like erring on the side of caution is the right thing to do 9 times out of 10.
No, it was absolutely the right thing. And if Carolinus wasn't a member of the Adeptus Mechanicus, that would have 100% been what he went for. But because he is Adeptus Mechanicus, he's at least aware of his loyalties to the Omnisire through his order. I mean, pretty much he is an Inquisitor, which is why he deferred to the judgment. But he was very much aware of how much that would inconvenience the Adeptus Mechanicus by doing it.
Yeah.
Well, that's I think in general the setting of the game is such that they're all such ridiculous, like hardcore xenophobe, like they're all so far over the top and so totalitarian about everything that there is no middle ground for any of their solutions. It's just like everything in the universe is trying to kill us, therefore we're going to kill everything in the universe and not take any chances. Like,
Yeah, I mean, that was one option. You know, you had other options and so on, and all of them were perfectly legit options, and it depends which route you take as to who likes you more and who gets you favors and who gets you peers, etc. In addition, your influence goes up by... It was a fairly small self-contained issue, although it did span a bit larger. I would say your influence goes up by 1 each. I think that's a fair point. Because you managed to successfully put down your first heretical cultist.
It was just like one
Cultist.
guy.
It was one guy. And a load of
Where
servitors.
does influence go?
It's one of your main stats.
One of your main characteristics underneath fellowship.
Oh, it's at the very bottom. Gotcha. Thank you.
Yeah. You also have like your 500 XP and stuff to spend, and of course, your fate resets back up to normal. Your wounds will reset. So yeah, feel free to spend that delicious XP, preferably on some like
Already
wounds
looking
and/or
at what I
combat.
can do.
Would anyone like to do requisitions?
How does this work?
I think we just make a roll, right?
Yeah. Bear in mind that for this session only now, because you've temporarily stopped cybernetics being produced, cybernetics are now 2 steps hard to find. This will decrease over time as cybernetics come back into production, but because you massacred the workers.
Sucks to be them. They shouldn't have been tainted.
How dare they be commanded to go down into the mines and stand next to that crystal?
Pretty much.
It's a rough life if you're a penal colonist.
So basically, if you want to get like a bit more heavy gear, like weapons, or if you want to get heavier armor, or if you want to just
Definitely want heavier armor. God, I need some like Imperial Guard armor or something. I need something.
you
How
can
do we go
start
about
rolling
getting-
for guard flak if you want.
How
But
do you roll for armor?
So effectively, you make an influence roll and plus or minus the rarity of the item. I believe that guard armor is scarce, so it's a -10.
Make an influence roll and then plus or minus the rarity.
So what do you
Oh, wow.
want? Do you only get to make 2 rolls between this and next session?
No idea.
I would just check it out. I mean, honestly, there's a lot of stuff on the gear
Yeah.
list or whatever, and you could talk to me or Avik if you wanted to go through it, because I've got the book.
Yeah.
Avik's got all the stuff.
Like if you want
Try
to
the
do
same
any,
thing twice if it doesn't work.
yes, you can. If you want to like get anything now, just shout it out. Whether if you want to get anything between now and next week, let me know. I'll pop on Roll20 with you, or we can just do it before next session. Although that will require you to turn up early, and require me to turn up early.
I'd roll for a las gun. I mean, why not?
Cool. Las guns are like what, common? +10?
I don't know.
They're
I don't
not-
have the.
What is the rarity scale? Like, what's the least rare and like what's the difference between rare and scarce?
Rare is like -20. Scarce is -10.
Okay.
It depends what you want to get. Some things the GM will not allow you to get right now because if you happen to luckily chance them, it will completely unbalance the party.
So feudal world plate would be bad? It's 5 AP.
It is.
You need a ninja knight.
But it does make sense for your character, and Avak already has something that's technically going to stack to be better than that. Because it makes sense for your character, I would let you roll for it.
For people watching, we talked about this during character creation. Because my character comes from a feudal world, and feudal world plate would be there. But for balance issues, we decided not to allow it during character creation. So we decided to unlock it at some point during the campaign. I don't know if now's a good time.
Yeah, the issue is getting feudal plate on the world you're currently on is actually more difficult, so there would be another -10 involved, because it depends on the locale which you're in.
Okay.
So wait till we have an investigation on a feudal world, and we're trying to figure out if we want to exterminate us a bunch of peasants.
We all want feudal armor. Lasgun, it's common, so I believe that is a +10. Let me just double check. Don't common +10, yeah. So if you want to make an influencer roll +10. $42, you needed 36.
I don't really care. I mean, I've got terrible ballistic skill anyway, so it was just like a thing.
What do you want to roll next? Armor?
Nah, not right now. I'll wait till my influence gets a little better.
Oh, you've got one roll you can use. I mean, you could get like some sort of like other thing, like a grenade or something.
A single crack grenade, which would have helped out a lot today because we could have flushed him out of that corner.
Or is it every 2 degrees of success you get an extra grenade?
Ooh.
You could get mono for your sword.
What does that do?
AP of 2.
Ooh, that'd be nice. That makes it monofiber, is that what it does?
It basically, like, the edge becomes a monomock edge, so it cuts through really easily.
Yeah, I'll roll for that.
Okay, let me just double check what mono is. It's scarce, so it's just a flat roll.
Okay.
Yeah. Basically, you ask the Magos if you can recommend someone to mono your sword for you. You are on a Forge world, and he quite happily says that he will do it himself. And he compliments the quality of your blade, says, oh, it's quite a good, you know, example. Carefully gets the edge inlaid with a mono. And yeah, your blade is now Pen 2.
Is that like an honor to have like the interrogator do it himself, or is that like
the Magos.
A big deal? Oh, the Magos did it himself.
Yeah.
That's a big deal, though.
That would be a fairly big deal for you. He technically is a Magos of biologists, but he can mono a sword.
Can I make sure when he does that, can we retcon it and have him also carve Anna Maria into the blade with like the scrolling behind it or whatever?
Sure, he can do that for you.
Cool. Anna Maria.
Right. Anyone else want to make any requisition rolls right now?
Well, unfortunately, because we're on a Forge world, I mean, normally this would be great for me to get some more
if it wasn't for Bionics going tits up.
Yeah. Can I get grapnel and line?
Yeah.
That's available?
Wouldn't normally, though, like it moves it up by 2, but because we're on a Forge world, wouldn't that counter effect some of it? Because it would have been easier to get normally, but now it's harder. Like, you know, you can just get like Bionics at whatever.
You always get the +2, but it's down -2. The Forge World's
no.
What
I
meant
meant
at the
was
moment because the Forge World currently isn't producing any, and all the ones they have produced, they're going to have to scrap or all redouble check. Like, there is no way that they have basically any right now. You would have to very difficult to find any, since this is like ground zero for the tainted chips. What's the rarity on the grapple?
Common.
So that's +10. So make an influence at +10.
Okay. You said I can roll twice?
Yes, you failed, so yeah, you can roll again if you want.
Okay. Just seems like something useful for a stealthy kind of person. Nah. Oh,
sadly, no. No grapples to be found on this Forge World.
GG.
Bentham?
I'll look through things a bit more.
Okay. Avak?
We can always do that later.
I'll have to have a look because I had a list of things that I was interested in, but they're not easy to get at the moment.
You gotta upgrade that Mechandrite or that Mechadendrite arm. Make
Yeah,
that thing out
I
of
know.
diamond. Get it all monoed out.
You gotta get like 5 of them.
Well, I can actually. How much is it to rise my toughness?
Depends entirely on if you've risen it before, on what your aptitudes are.
No, I haven't. Right. I'll need to have a look at that because I wouldn't mind rising my toughness by 5.
It's 100 if you've got the aptitudes. It's 250 if you have 1, and it's like 500 if you have none or
Yeah, I
something
need
like
to
that. It's
find
pretty
the
expensive.
aptitudes for it. I can't. I'm
Toughness
looking in the
and
book, but I can't see it.
defense.
It's toughness and defense, I think. Yes.
I've got toughness,
Let me see here.
but I'm fairly certain I only had one of them. So how much XP would it be to rise toughness
250.
by 5?
250.
I will recommend that in future, if people want to just like bookmark this page, let me just find it. Where is it? I've got it like permanently open at the moment.
That'd be great. Thank you very much.
I've been reading this wrong, but I think I can attach a flamer to my chainsword.
There you go.
And it's apparently common.
That'd be amazing.
What? Which one?
It's the exterminator. It says any weapon.
Any weapon at all.
Any weapon except pistol or thrown. And ranged weapons is specified for other things, so I think I can actually just have a flamer chainsword.
Yeah, I could imagine you having like a thing just on the back, just for emergency purging of heretics.
Exterminator, blah, blah, blah. Any weapon except pistol. Yep, that could be put on a melee weapon. Bear in mind that
Then
you
we
would need
can purge with holy
flamer
fire.
training.
I'll look into it. That might be what I can use my experience for.
Okay.
What was that talent that you were talking about previously that would give me level 1 in any law skill?
You would have to check it out on the link I just sent you. I can't remember off the top of my head. You can just look for just law and just flip through the laws until you find it. It'll be like tier 3, I think, because it's really good. But it basically says, oh, if you've got any law and you've got an intelligence of 40 or more, yeah, by the way, you count as having like training in every single law and scholastic law there is.
That sounds stupid awesome.
It is really awesome.
Would it be worthwhile to spend all 500 XP on just 5 willpower, just to get simple?
It depends. The problem is your character willpower is a very hard buy because your character isn't built around it. And for 500 XP, you could get like quite a lot of other stuff. Like you could up your weapon skill a little bit. You could really you've upped your agility and your ballistic skill. You could get some really good bonuses, traits and stuff. Like I think you could probably even get the thing that allows you to add your ballistic skill bonus to like damage you do with range shots. Like there are loads of really cool talents that you can get. Just look through the talents. Like there's some really awesome talents there, especially for 500 because you've got the specialty for that.
Splat, do you happen to have the thing for tier 3 talents? Because I've got both aptitudes on it.
It's got it. You've got it in the chat right there in Skype. If you wanted to open the article, it's right. He's got the spreadsheet
Is it
for
on,
you.
which one is it on?
It's on
Skype, the group Skype.
Which tab has
the very first
amount
one
that it costs? Right. There we go. Thank you very much. Talents, characteristics,
bottom right,
skills. Yeah, I'm looking for the costs. I can't find that. I can find.
It says tier 1, tier 2, tier 3 aptitudes 210.
Tier 3 with both aptitudes is 400.
There we are. Yeah, I see it. Might be worth taking because I'd have all scholastic and common law knowledge at tier 1.
You're treated as because there is a more difference. Because if you don't want to get it more, you
rise them.
If you want to rise them, you'd have to buy them at like base, which is unfortunate. But it's a great way of going. I don't think I'll be buying most of these because there's a lot of them. I'll have them. And for someone like a tech priest, who you're going to be buying like tech use and stuff, you're not going to be buying all the laws. It's great.
Exactly. What was that one? Forbidden Knowledge Warp?
Forbidden Knowledge Warp, you'll need to check what the advances are for Forbidden Laws.
Forbidden Laws. Skills. Missions, background rolls, divination. There's a very long list of things.
Yes.
Oh, wow. This is interesting. Hip shooting. Hip shooting. As a full action, you can move your full move rate and make a single shot attack with a ranged weapon.
Oh, yeah.
That's really good for you, and that's pretty good for Bentham, too. Both characters that do a lot of shooty business, and they need to move and shoot at the same time a lot.
Especially for Bentham, because Bentham relies on moving and shooting. But
What
yeah,
was
it's also
the,
useful for anyone, really.
What was the one you were saying about adding your ballistic skill?
It's like deadly killer or dead shot or precision shot or something like that.
All right, I'll look for that.
It's something like that. It's basically like you do extra damage equal to maybe half your ballistic skill bonus rounded up, which is still like 2 damage or something. It's pretty baller.
So will our XP change based on how well we do in a mission, or is it like a static amount that you design?
Yeah, it's basically how well you do, the decisions you make, how you respond to it, and how well you fulfill all your goals. Like, none of your goals were don't accidentally free some sort of demon from inside a crystal. That was just an unfortunate side effect. You didn't know about that. You can't be counted against your XP of having that.
Who sent us down with the melta bomb? Was that the interrogator that sent us?
Well, you made the decision to melt a bomb it, and someone had to go down. Someone who could be trusted to place it on the thing and not just place it nearby and then run away and bury it. So effectively, you guys put it upon yourself to do that. And you could easily requisition some melter bombs from somewhere, and someone will go, look, press this button and stick it on the thing, right?
Wow. Death Dealer selects the specialization that matches the prereq, so ballistic skill. Attack in that combat type inflicts critical damage. Add his perception bonus to the damage result. Is that the one you're talking about?
If you deal critical damage, you then add your perception damage. Is that the one?
It says attack in that combat type inflicts critical damage.
What's it called?
It's called Death Dealer, one word.
Death Dealer.
There's a lot of interesting stuff in here.
I think it must mean attacks in that combat type when it inflicts critical damage, add your perception bonus to the damage result. So if you take someone down to -1, you go, oh, is he's in critical? Cool. Add my perception bonus, and your perception is what, 40?
Yeah.
So instead of taking someone down to -1, you take them down to -5. It's really good against people who have critical tracks, so anyone not a mook. So for that guy there that you fought, he'd be dead a turn earlier. If you're going to be the guy specifically targeting those people.
Yeah, it's not that exciting then.
That said, though, if you get Righteous Fury, because Righteous Fury does 1d5 critical, you then go, I only got a 5, which is not lethal in any location, but, +4, that's lethal in every location. It just makes Righteous Fury an absolute win.
Right, I've spent 350, 100 of which went on Forbidden Law Warp, for which I had both aptitudes, and 250 on rising my toughness for the first time by 5 from 36 to 41.
Ah, yeah, the extra damage reduction is good.
Yeah, because I was right next to getting an extra point of damage reduction, so it made
totally worth it.
Go for that. So that leaves me with 150.
And are you going to try and requisition guard flak or something?
Can I?
It is a -10. Yeah, I'd say you would be allowed to if you can roll it.
Okay, so that's scarce. I
can build my character to be like a killing machine with psychic barrage, but I need to get my psi rating up to 4 or 5 in order to really get there. Because it can only deal as many attacks. I get basically 1d10 per psi rating, and so if I can get up to 4 psi rating, it'll do 4d10 with 4 penetration. Dude. On a good roll. It'll just be and I can target anybody in line of sight, so I can just machine gun everybody in front of me with it.
So it's a -10 on Imperial Guard Flak, is that right?
Yeah, if you roll influence at -10.
Okay.
All right, so there's 2 that I'm looking at. Either Mighty Shot, which is the one you were talking about, where you add half of your ballistic skill to damage rolls, or Target Selection, which prevents shooting into melee from lowering the chance to hit. And it also prevents hitting the wrong target with shooting into melee. Wow, look at that. 26 out of 27.
Carolina's Drackle manages, for his second mission, to have managed to get some Imperial Guard flak armor.
There you go. Is that good?
He's now tanky as hell.
It's really good.
It's going to be hard to hurt me now.
Because you
Oh,
4
that
points of
is
toughness,
my
4 points of
entire
armor,
body
2 points of
with
skin
4.
armor. You ignore 10 points of damage.
Wow, that's insane.
He's now immune to swords if you ignore the strength bonus.
Wow. Badass. You're going to be frontline medic now. Just get up there and just challenge everyone to melee.
Completely fine.
Now you got to work on
that
actually
was so
doing
cool.
damage with melee.
And you know what else? Because that's 4 on top of my sub-skin armor, which is 2.
And then toughness 4.
That only affects my body, arms, and legs. But 4 for my head, which I had none on before. So that brings my protection of 6 armor to my arms, body, and legs, plus my 4 toughness. So yeah, basically 10 points of damage mitigation minus any piercing.
Yeah, so your
My head
armor
has
has gone
8.
up like a crazy amount for next session, and your toughness has gone up. You ain't gonna
Those
die.
lucky rolls.
You ain't
Yeah,
gonna die.
that was so lucky as well. I got 26 out of 27. I was like, nah, go on and I'll roll the dice. You
It's
never
just a
know.
1 in 4. It's just a 1 in 4.
Yeah.
It's not that
Like,
lucky. But
statistically, it's not a bad chance.
Getting right on the edge there is
Do you want to
amazing.
requisition something else? For instance, a heavy weapon?
Go for it. Something to make you useful in melee.
I don't have.
What's your weapon skill?
Well, I don't have weapon skill, so like anything for fighting in melee is not that useful for me.
What
honestly.
about a
It
heavy
just
weapon?
isn't.
Bear in mind, you would need weapon
But I don't
training
have heavy weapon use.
Yeah.
What was that? Sorry.
You would need heavy
Well,
weapon
actually,
use.
let me have a look at what that would be, because if it's not too much, then I could just not take the forbidden knowledge warp.
Oh, you could afford it if you didn't take Forbidden Knowledge Warp. I think it's either 100 or 150 or 200 or something for you.
Let me
Depends
just have
on-
a quick look.
Yeah.
So that would be... Because if I can afford it, I'm sure... Right, that would be under skills, so heavy weapon. H.
It's no, you're just looking for weapon training.
Oh, weapon training. Heavy weapon, okay.
Yeah, I'm going to take Mighty Shot.
Okay.
Sounds so good.
You will need to add like the damage manually to your guns then. But yeah,
Okay,
it's
it's
pretty
plus,
damn baller.
plus 3 damage on all shots.
What is your ballistic skill?
50.
Jesus.
So it's half of that rounded up.
Damn.
What the hell? I can't find weapon training for some reason. On this list. Weapon intuition, that's talents. Traits, would it be?
Yeah, but it's a trait. I'm trying to find some sort of heavy... Actually, to be fair, you couldn't really requisition a heavy weapon right now.
No?
Yeah, like... heavy stubber is rare, so it's minus 20.
Oh, yeah. I dropped my requisition down to 17.
Yeah.
Very logistic. Yeah.
You could, however, get like a shotgun. Easy to get, pretty useful.
Projectile, yeah.
Great at close range. You could try and grab a flamer.
What is the opposite of floor when you're just talking programming? Because floor brings the number down
Ceiling.
to the ceiling? Okay.
I wonder why I can't find weapon training anymore, though.
Grenade launcher?
Where is that? Oh. I literally cannot find where weapon training is run off to, and I'm looking on this thing. I'm terrible with this thing for some reason. Oh, there we are. Why is it? Oh, it must be like tiers or something. Yeah, it's all the tier 1s, and then right, okay, that's why I couldn't find it.
Yeah, I found it. If you got finesse, you don't, do you?
No, I don't. So it'll be 250, I think.
Tier 1, 300.
300 then. So yeah, I wouldn't be able to get it even if I dropped the.
Yeah, so you can't really get a flamer because you need the flame training. You could, however, get. Well, what was the one I was suggesting?
Gentlemen, my dinner is ready.
In which case, we'll call it here for the after
Disengage.
show. So yeah, the after show just devolved into like an item shopping session. I
It
think.
won't be like this forever. It
won't
won't be like this, I
forever.
promise.
No.
Let's avoid that next time.
That said, once you've got an idea of what the item list is you've got, it'll just be a case of just going through it every time.
Yeah, I was literally,
Yeah.
I would have known exactly what I was going to have if it weren't for the fact that
You sorted
cybernetics
all the
was two
people
times.
at the penal
Yeah.
camp.
It was worth it though.
Now
worth it.
chaos won't spread. They had to die.
Well,
You don't know that. We
it
released
spread
something.
because we blew up the
We
crystal.
released something.
It was all for nothing. Ah, you fools!
Say goodbye to
Now I
that
don't
sword.
have
boy.
recurring
like, 2
villain.
extra mechadendrites. It would have been great.
We took out the puppet and we released the puppeteer.
Yep.
Oh,
Your
Ava,
boss
well, if
is
you
no
want to give up
longer-
the guard flak armor, I mean, you
Well,
can.
no, I've got another thing. I can just roll again and see if I'm lucky twice. You know what? Sure. I'm going to roll
Do
for
it.
another mechadendrite and we'll just see.
Really? I was
Oh,
going to say a
yeah.
shotgun. A shotgun would be really useful for your character.
Yeah, because you're gonna be up close with everyone.
You
Yeah.
can borrow mine.
Yay!
Remember,
Okay,
shotguns
here
at
we
point
go.
blank give you +3 damage. Okay.
What did I roll? No. Way
No,
off.
85.
Never
You
mind.
completely fail. Like, you actually get some of the old
I would have failed anything. At that point.
heretical cyborg ones, and you're like, no, I have to turn these in.
Roll for corruption.
Plugged it in before I realized. Ah, my brain.
Okay,
My pure-
yeah, but people feel
pure
free to
brain.
buy stuff and then let me know. Just ping me directly rather than the Roll4It chat, because otherwise it will get lost in the myriad of messages. Also, if you want to do influency buying stuff for next session, let me know as well. Those of you who haven't done it, is it just Bentham?
It's just Bentham.
Just that.
Yeah.
Bentham, yeah.
So yeah.
Still
gonna
So
go
I'm
buy some- he's
supremely
gonna get some
happy with my
drugs.
Imperial Guard Black. Oh my god.
Yeah, that was a good roll.
Yeah,
was a
you're
good
going to
roll.
be like ridiculously hard to kill.
Thank Christ.
Damn.
Thank Christ.
Now, is
Just
that
yes.
gonna lower his agility at all?
No, because my agility is not high enough to be affected by it.
Perfect.
That's why I'm gonna get the heaviest armor I can too for melee and for casting because it doesn't matter. My agility is so shit that like why bother?
Yeah.
Terminator
makes
armor.
sense.
Now,
Affect me.
I
'cause
would
my
still be
agility's
wearing my
good.
Imperial Guard robes. It's just, it doesn't stack.
Yeah,
You know,
so you've
'cause
got your
obviously-
robes over the top. You just feel really warm.
Good.
Oh, and if you wear the helmet, you obviously have a helmet.
Cool.
Yay.
You can't wear that and the cowl. You have to choose. You can't put the cowl over the top of the helmet.
Why? I put it over the top of my head. Have you seen some of the heads of mech priests? No, tech priests, rather.
You'd have to get custom tailored. But yeah, you'd effectively have to requisition the robes again. But yeah, right. So thank you very much for watching our random bonus video from the first episode where we do a shopping channel.
Yeah.
Bye,
Bye, Patreon people.
Patreon people. Thank you very much for your support. Really appreciated.
Let us know if you
all that
like
jazz.
the shopping channel. If you actually like us.
And
doing
discussing
this
like
sort of
what you're
stuff on
buying as
camera.
advances. I guess that's more interesting.
See,
for
I
what
thought we were
people
gonna
like.
dick around and joke about stuff. So
Which is what we normally
need
do.
we need a hand model to show off all these wonderful items we're trying to win.
Yeah.
You know, it's like on The Price is Right. Everyone's like, "Here's what you're not going to get today because you suck."
Oh God, flak armor.
here's a storm bolter from 40,132.
Here's
Classic
12,000
model.
Imperial servants dead. Enjoy getting hold of those.
I mean,
servants.
Day's work.
I'll keep the remaining 150 experience for next session.
Yeah.
Because then I would totally be willing to build my character into like a heavy weapons guy. With
Yeah.
that kind of
I think it'd be fun.
survivability. And my strength is actually pretty good. It's 35.
You're going to have to learn how to say da 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 da.
You get a heavy bolter.
Kaboom.
Oh, a tech priest with a heavy bolter who is impossible to kill. Excellent. You should get True Grit as well, because that's an amazing perk. It stops you going from like really critical. Like you take away stuff
Really?
from criticals. Yeah, it's like if you're going critical, yeah, deduct like your willpower bonus from the damage you take.
You should also get
Wow.
bulging biceps so that you can use heavy weapons without taking a penalty.
Yeah, just basically you're automatically braced. If you get bulging biceps, you can be like, I don't need to take a brace action. Just walk forward with a heavy bolter. La 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 la.
Yeah, you can like run while shooting people with a heavy bolter. It's crazy.
Yeah, if you do that with hip shooting, can you just do the both and be like...
I bet you can. Sounds overpowered to me. We found the build.
I want you to hold this heavy bolter one-handed, firing it sideways as you run
Yeah.
across in front of everyone.
Well, if I had like bionic
If you
arms
could
as well,
one-handed
that would
stop
almost make sense.
If you can one-hand it, then you can get ambidextrous and you can dual wield.
Extra bulging biceps.
No, we'll save that for the Space Marine episode. But yeah, that's it for our random.
Brothers.
Oh dear, what have we
Let
created?
us end the VOD.
We'll catch you next week. Thank you much for watching our random bonus shopping channel episode. What have we created? What have we created?
All the space world.
Guys, so lucky.
For bulging biceps.